Okay, this is Travis Wayne Goodsell, and as you can see, my hair is all wet, back to normal, not looking like I just woke up like I did, and so no longer needing the baseball cap, and I am now uploading the video about the Utah Mormon government violating Jesus's Constitution. Mormons believe the Constitution is divinely inspired by Jesus. It's in their Doctrine and Covenants. All Mormons know it. All ex-Mormons know it. And so if you're not a Mormon and you don't know it, they believe that. And so then you might be asking yourself, why are they trying to ban medical marijuana for people with seizures? Even after the midterm election vote, that the majority of Utah Mormons said, yeah, we want that. We want to help our family members and our loved ones who are having seizures. Mormons aren't going to vote for recreational marijuana. That ain't going to happen. But medical marijuana, yes, Mormons want that. They, a church who claims to have the gifts and powers of God to heal is denying doctors from healing people. So, yeah, that's a bad thing. So anyway, what's this video about, Travis? Why are you rambling? I had two ideas. The first one was going to be about ex-Mormons and why they don't unite with me. And so that's an interesting thing, is the ex-Mormon culture. And there's some fallback from having been in the Mormon Church that results even after they've decided to leave. So they still take baggage with them into their ex-Mormon lives. And so I was going to discuss that. The other one is I had found a young girl who's left the Mormon Church. She's a young woman. Don't be technical. But she had 119 likes for her video that she just posted 7 hours ago, and no thumbs down. She's blatantly saying she's an ex-Mormon helping Mormons transition into ex-Mormonism, and she's getting no Mormon trolls. I don't get it. I'm jealous. Because as you see, Mormon trolls don't like my videos, but her, everybody's loving her videos. I don't get it. And that's why I wanted to talk about the ex-Mormon thing, but it caused me to think, oh, wait a minute. Okay, she's talking about personal life experiences on why she left. She's not just pointing out the doctrinal errors or the negligence of explaining full church history or anything like that I'm doing. She's talking about why she left. It's her personal experience. And so, yeah, I can understand why Mormon trolls can't do anything on her channel. She's protected herself because she's personalizing it, and whereas I'm a guy, typical guy, being logical, using facts and evidence. Utah Mormons are Republican, and so, like the Republicans under Trump, they don't like facts and evidence and will use unsound logic or unsound argument to complain and distract and argue and death threats and thumbs down, trolling, etc. So, but yeah, I thought, well, why don't I try her tactic and do a Tale of Two Brothers? And those of you who have studied Egyptian and may have heard of the Egyptian Tale of Two Brothers. And of course, the Mayans also had a Tale of Two Brothers, and etc. So, yeah, I have a brother, and so yes, I could talk about the differences in upbringing between my brother Todd and myself. So now that I've taken 5 minutes, 6 minutes, which do I choose? Let's do the ex-Mormon one first, and then we'll sacrifice my thumbs down status. Hold off to do the Tale of Two Brothers. Okay, so I have reached out to the popular ex-Mormons, John DeLynn, Lee Baker, the ordained women, and Paul Adams, and there's others. The Protect LDS Children. The Protect LDS Children, they've made contact back. Lee Baker has, but it's brief and dismissive. But the Protect LDS Children did reach out to me. I went to them first and filled out the form that they were putting on their website that they were going to then send to the church, and then they sent it to the church, and the church caved. That's why the church is now requiring or allowing children to have a parent with them and women to have somebody with them during bishops' interviews. Men were left out. So men continually get abused and screwed, whereas others can protect themselves. But as I've done another video, I'm sure, they won't do that, because they believe the bishop is called of God and would never violate God's law and abuse their child or abuse them, and so they're not interested in protecting themselves against somebody who wants to hold meetings in secret and who has non-disclosure agreements. Let's see, my video is uploaded into the Movie Maker, so I'm going to pause and recommence. Alrighty, so while Utah Mormon government violates Jesus's constitution is being saved, and when it is finally saved, and I am still rambling on this video, you'll notice a pause freeze on this video. That means that it has finished. Yeah, ex-Mormons. Personally, I would love to be able to watch the new movies that I obtained a couple of weeks ago that I intended to watch last week, didn't get around to it because the new Venom movie came out on DVD. I would really like to see that. The new Predator came out, and Denzel Washington. Oh yeah, Equalizer 2. That also came out. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. And then Blue Bloods, I really would like to get caught up on that before the second half of season 9 starts up in January. And I'm here trying to communicate with you, to talk to you about the dangers that our nation faces with the corruption of the Mormon Church and the corruption of our government. But I can't do videos on government because nobody watches those. And yeah, I apparently have 4 notifications on YouTube, and they're most likely dealing with my Egyptian translations. There are people who are arguing with me, who are citing Mormon or other Egyptologists as to why I'm wrong, rather than going to the source documents. And I keep trying to tell people, you gotta go to source documents. Don't go to PhDs. You know, you gotta fact check PhDs. Because just because they're a PhD does not mean they're smart in their field. You know, and that would be a part of my tale of 2 brothers. My brother has a PhD, and I just have a lowly bachelor's, yet he has done nothing in the ways of publishing in social work or social studies new groundbreaking discoveries, whereas I have made groundbreaking discoveries in Paleo-Hebrew as to the origins of it, and thus the origins of the alphabet, and have made groundbreaking research discoveries with the translation of Egyptian as well, and then thus the translation of the Bible, not just the Torah, but also the Gospels. And so people are arguing, thinking that their regurgitative knowledge is smarter than my research discovery knowledge. So, yeah, lots of fun. And so I'll get to those later. Yeah, we're talking about ex-Mormons on this one. The Mormon Church does severe damage to the minds of their members, so that when Mormons do leave, part of the transitioning that needs to take place is a re-education programming, because ex-Mormons take with them the baggage of the Mormon Church. Yes, there may be a trigger as to why they left, but they still have feelings that will make them feel guilty for having left. And that's the baggage that I'm talking about. Mormons have, or ex-Mormons have, friends that they made while Mormon. And by becoming ex-Mormon, their friends shun them. They're no longer associated with. They are taboo. They are wrong in what they're doing. And so ex-Mormons are isolated from their peer group, whether children, teenagers, or adults, young and old. And this is a serious problem that is caused by the Mormon leadership. And you know, Mormons don't see it. They don't see their wrong behavior when they do it. And ex-Mormons, they see it. And if they end up being alone, and they don't have a God to cling to after leaving Mormon's God, they're stuck in a quantum bubble, and they don't know where to turn, and so there is no, that I know of, there is no, what's it called, a support group for Mormons. All the ex-Mormons that I've looked for all want to be leaders. They want to be, they want to have a following, and they're not interested in a support group. You know, so John DeLynn, he does vlogs of people's experience leaving the Mormon Church, and so he gives them their 15 minutes of fame, which often ends up being an hour, or in some cases a couple hours. But it's all for him, for his glory. And he tries to claim that, oh, I'm not going to talk about my story, and I'm not going to talk about the excommunication. They've sworn me to silence, so I'm going to comply. So, yeah, he may be a PhD in his social worker field, but you know, he needs to speak out, because what the church did to him was wrong. He can't allow the church to silence him and to suppress him in his claim to petition for a redress of grievances. And so even though he's using other people instead, he needs to be the spokesperson. He needs to share with everybody his situation. And so, yeah, even though he's found his prize pupil, a guy named Jeremy, who is the one responsible for the letter to a CES, CES leader, president, whatever, and you know, some of those things are interesting, but John Dehlin is taking the focus off himself, and that's a carryover from Mormonism, because Mormons are indoctrinated into not take credit for the revelation that they get and the good works that result from that revelation. They're told that it's being humble when you don't take credit for God's glory. And people don't understand. You can't do that. That's wrong. You need to take credit where credit is due, because yeah, you're not being humble. You're depreciating yourself. You're devaluing yourself, and that's a cause of what Mormonism has done. And you can see that in John Dehlin, that his Mormon experience still has baggage carrying over into his ex-Mormon life, and that's a big problem for ex-Mormons, is they're not able to make a clean break from Mormonism. They still like maybe the Book of Mormon, or the Doctrine and Covenants, or maybe it's just certain things about what's said in the Book of Mormon, what's said in the Doctrine and Covenants, like the Word of Wisdom. You'll have lots of ex-Mormons who still won't, drink, do drugs, caffeine, even though that's not in there. And they'll say that, oh yeah, they have a lot of good things about them, but it's that whole polygamy thing, or it's that whole abuse of blacks and women, and whatever is their reason for leaving. People don't realize that if an organization is bad, you can't just say, well, they had this good thing about them, because that good thing was the distraction that you fell for. Because even though you think it's a good thing, they were using it to manipulate you. So, primary hymns for kids. Oh, it's a good thing. They're teaching kids about Jesus and being good kids. Have you ever read through the doctrinal principles that are being taught in the primary children's songbook? No. Faith is knowing the sun will shine. That's false doctrine. Every astronomer knows that. You have faith that the sun might shine, And then when it shines, you now know. Every astronomer knows this. That's how the process works. You have faith until you produce the evidence, the physical evidence. Then you know. You do not know until you produce the physical evidence. And yet, that's what the primary kids are being taught, is incorrect belief systems. You know, just like the humility one. Mormons are being taught incorrectly. That's called indoctrination. And it's a bad thing, and it's baggage that gets carried over into ex-Mormon lifestyles. And so, yeah, that's basically it. I could talk more and ramble on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But I really want to get to the tale of two brothers. And maybe even answer or reply to the people complaining that, how do you know what's your source? The Egyptian documents. I told you, the Egyptian documents. Well, but you're not quoting a PhD. No, he's not a primary source document. He's a secondary source, giving his opinion. I haven't fact-checked him. He needs to be fact-checked first. And all he's doing is hopefully referring to primary source documents. So why go to him rather than the primary source document? Ah! So, yeah, that'll be fun trying to answer those. So, yeah, okay. We'll go on to the tale of two brothers. I still have 43% more on the savings, so this is going to take some time.